However you are tuned in, whether you're watching us on Headline News, online, or on iTunes, thank you for checking out this Thursday edition of CNN Student News.
No matter how they cast their ballots, all Americans can be proud of the history that was made. Across the country, citizens voted in large numbers. They showed a watching world the vitality of America's democracy and the strides we have made toward a more perfect union.
President Bush reflecting on the magnitude of Tuesday's election, and he's serious about those large numbers. Experts estimate that about 134 million Americans voted. That's about 64% of all eligible voters, and it's just off the turnout record of 66%. That was back in 1908. As for Tuesday's big winner, Barack Obama spent his first day as president-elect out of the spotlight. Some meetings, but no public appearances on Wednesday. Of course, when he takes office, he'll become the country's first African-American president. It's a historic milestone that resonated with Americans from both political parties, and one that Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, the highest-ranking African-American woman in the U.S. government, called an extraordinary step forward for the nation.
One of the great things about representing this country is that it continues to surprise. It continues to renew itself. It continues to beat all odds and expectations. You just know that Americans are not going to be satisfied until they really do form that perfect union. And while the perfect union may never be in sight, we just keep working at it and trying.
The election wasn't just a big story here in the U.S. People on nearly every continent tuned in. Leaders from around the world have weighed in on the outcome. Zain Verjee gives us a glimpse at some of the global reaction to Tuesday's results.
From a hotel in Australia to a Japanese village that shares his name and his old school in Indonesia. The world celebrates the election of a president they hope will bring them change.
And a new dawn of American leadership is at hand. To those who would tear the world down, we will defeat you. To those who seek peace and security, we support you.
Newspaper headlines, a new world dawns, one giant leap for mankind, Mr. President. A reminder, though, of the complex world that awaits a new president. With ordinary Russians going about their business, their government congratulated Obama on his victory, while in a speech to Russian lawmakers, President Dmitry Medvedev complained about U.S. policy ranging from Georgia to the economy to missile defense. In France, a statement from the president hoping America will lead the way once again. In England, more of the same.
This is a moment that will live in history as long as history books are written.
In Kenya, Obama's grandmother danced in delight. The family slaughters a cow for a feast as Kenya stretches its celebration into a national holiday.
A word to the wise. Ballot measure. A question that is decided by voters, usually on the state or local level. It may or may not become law.
It did become law in 3 states. Voters in Arizona, California, and Florida decided on a ballot measure to ban same-sex marriage in their states. The measure will change the state constitutions to say that marriage can only be a union between one man and one woman. That means men can't marry men and women can't marry women. Also, voters in Nebraska decided to ban affirmative action in their state. Affirmative action encourages organizations to have more women and minorities represented. Nebraskans felt that gives special treatment to certain groups, so they voted it down. Now, these are only 2 of the ballot measures Americans voted on yesterday. Check out the Spotlight section on our website for some other results. Updating the makeup of the next Congress now, starting with the U.S. House of Representatives. The Democrats expanded their majority here. CNN projected 254 of 435 total seats for the Democrats, 173 seats for Republicans. This would be the Democrats' largest majority in 15 years. 8 races are still waiting to be called. Over in the Senate, Democrats are hoping for a filibuster-proof number of 60 seats there. It's unlikely, though. After Tuesday, the party controls 54 Senate seats, with 2 occupied by independents who vote with the Democrats. Republicans have 40 Senate seats, 4 Senate races still too close to call.
Time for the shout-out. Who was the most recent U.S. president whose political party controlled both houses of Congress while he was in office? Was it George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George H.W. Bush, or Ronald Reagan? You've got 3 seconds. Go! Our current president, George W. Bush, and the Republicans held the majority in the House and Senate from 2002 to 2006. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
Now that the race for the White House is over, President-elect Obama shifts from campaigning to what's called the transition. It's the 10 weeks between the election and when he's sworn into office. During this time, Obama will select the members of his cabinet and White House staff, and he'll start getting top-secret intelligence briefings. In fact, he's expected to receive his first one today. Kelly Arena explains what kinds of security issues are covered in these reports.
It's called the Presidential Daily Brief, or PDB. It contains the most classified information about covert activity, U.S. military operations, and threats facing the United States.
He will begin to see not only the threat, but also the response. And he will have to begin to make decisions about what will his policy be.
It will be a sobering experience for the president-elect. He'll be able to see top-secret satellite photos, hear what the nation's spies are reporting, and he'll get the latest intelligence from the world's hotspots. What's happening with the insurgency in Iraq? How sick is North Korea's leader Kim Jong-il? And what's the status of the hunt for terrorists in Pakistan? The sooner he hears it, the better.
Those who wish us harm realize this is a period for us when we're still adjusting to making decisions and understanding and so on.
McConnell points out the first and second attacks on the World Trade Center happened during the first years of the Clinton and Bush administrations, a fact that has not escaped the president-elect or his number 2.
Mark my words, it will not be 6 months before the world tests Barack Obama like they did John Kennedy.
Officials stress there's no intelligence to suggest that any attack is imminent, but they remain on guard.
We have put into effect some additional measures to just make sure we're really scrubbing all the intelligence. We're looking very carefully at anything that might be a vulnerability.
A smooth transition also calls for the fast placement of a new national security team. Experts say the president-elect needs to get that team, which will include a new Homeland Security Secretary and Attorney General, in place as soon as possible, so he's prepared for the many challenges that he will face on day one. Kelly Arena, CNN, Washington.
Okay, as you might be able to tell from my anchoring today, we were up late on election night. Our staff posted 7 live blogs as the results came in. We gave you our impressions of what we were seeing. Here are some of yours. Shantae wrote, "It's time for a dramatic change, and I think Obama's the person that will actually work hard to make a difference. I support him all the way." Christine's comment, "I'm really disappointed in America for making Barack Obama president. I think McCain had a lot of better ideas." Emerson feels we have come a long way to have a black president. He wrote, "I'm glad I was there to see history and live through it." And Courtney said, "I'll always remember this election because it was the first I was old enough to vote in, and I felt that my vote was important." A lot of first-time voters feeling that. Now, before we go, we are polishing off our coverage of the election with a look at some true manicure masterpieces. A salon in Florida gave people the chance to lend a helping hand or fingernail to their favorite candidates, painting pint-sized presidential and VP portraits for just $25 a piece. The 30-minute process may seem kind of complicated, but the salon's owner says all it takes is a steady hand and a whole lot of patience. After all, politics could be a real nail-biter. Well, I told you we were tired. When we're tired, we get punchy. You guys have a great day. For CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azuz.